Haimanot. I am a private ACT tutor and an assistant course instructor at Ethio College Prep. My ACT score is 1480. Okay, so I took the ACT twice. The first time I took it was I was a high school senior, and I decided to take it in October of 2019, and I got a 1380 that time. So the time I took to prepare for that ACT was about 3 months before October. So there was this free ACT course at our school, ACT course prep and college application preparation in our school. So I decided to take that training, so I had to start early to prepare for the October ACT. So I took about 3 months, and the second time I took it was in August of 2021. And that time I took less time to prepare for it. I decided to take ACT months before August, so I had about a little over a month to prepare for the ACT a second time. So that time I scored a 1480. So the first time, because I had an immense amount of time, I decided to use the Critical Reader by Erica and Black Book and the main guide, the College Board ACT guide. And in addition to that, I also used Khan Academy, which is a free website. So I used those 4 resources because I had a lot of time to prepare the first time around. But the second time, I basically focused on doing practice problems because I had less time. So I decided to use Khan Academy. That was my main resource when I prepared for the second time. So I used Khan Academy and the College Board ACT guide the second time. So those were the basic resources. So I think the best resource is Khan Academy, although the books give general guidance and strategies on how to approach questions in general, but Khan Academy helps because it recommends specific types of questions for you to work on based on your weaknesses, based on the questions that you've done in the past. So I think Khan Academy is the main resource, especially if you want to focus on practice problems. But I also think if you're taking the ACT for the first time and you want to actually look over strategies and tips and tricks on how to approach questions, then I would say the Critical Reader is also another very important resource, especially if you have a longer period of time. But the most important resource for me was Khan Academy. So this also depended on the amount of time I had. So the first time I took less practice tests and I focused more on reading strategies and tricks the first time. So the first time I took about 10 practice tests that were on the guide, on the College Board guide, and also on the Khan Academy. So I took the official practice tests, which were about 10 that were available then. But the second time, I basically did practice questions and did practice tests, full-length tests the second time. So I took around 20 or something on the second time I prepared for it. So some of it I got from the College Board official guide, and some others I got from PDFs on Telegram, which were more recent ACT exams. So I took around 20 practice questions the second time. So I think the basic thing that contributed to my improvement in score was the test dates that I chose, because the first time I took the ACT, I chose October because it was the dates after summer, so I used the summer to prepare, and I took it on October, which was a few weeks after school started when I was in 12th grade. So although I prepared I prepared on the summer, I kind of got distracted on the last 3 weeks before the ACT. So that actually contributed. I think I did less that time because of that distraction. But the second time I took it, it was on August, which I had a lot of time and I had break before the ACT. There was no distraction. So that time I used my time to prepare for the ACT, and I had no distractions, so I did my best to prepare until test dates. So I think that contributed to my score the second time around. So I think choosing your test date wisely is also a very important thing. So the advice I would give is to plan ahead and start your preparation early. So there's no early time to prepare for the ACT. If you want to apply after you finish your senior year, you could start preparing as early as your freshman year in high school. So the more you practice, the more you have time to do preparations and to purchase resources and to do practice tests, the more you'd have the chance to obtain a good score. So I think starting early is the number one tip that I would give you.